Oh, I got you.
I appreciate it. I have a couple of questions. The first one is, what steps are your agencies going to take? And I kind of talked about this in my opening statement, but what steps are your agencies going to take to ensure that stimulus dollars are not used to duplicate or overbuild existing infrastructure? I mean, are you going to be, or can you be the backstop to make sure that we're not going to be spending money going into areas that are already adequately served? And that's a pretty important question.
Sure, I'll take the first response on that. For infrastructure projects, we will not award dollars unless the funds are going to a proposed service area that meets our definition of unserved or underserved. So in either situation, those would be areas that by definition are not being adequately served by existing providers. So I think we meet your concern.
What is that definition, just out of curiosity?
Unserved would be that 90% of the people living in the proposed service area do not have access to broadband service. For underserved, it's a three-part test, any part of which can be satisfied to satisfy the definition, which would be that 50% or more of the residents do not subscribe, do not have it available, that 40% or more do not actually subscribe, or that there is not already an existing provider who advertises a service at 3 megabits per second or faster. If any of those conditions are met, then the area is deemed underserved for purposes of infrastructure projects.
Okay.
We use the same definition of unserved. We have, as we said, a coordinated program, so the same definition of unserved and unserved, and we've really tried to target those most remote areas of the country that have no service at all. We're going to continue to figure out ways to even improve that process and target the funds towards unserved areas. It's really the mission of the USDA to get service to people that don't have any at all. There are other important areas that are underserved that we are permitted and encouraged by the statute to serve as well, but I think we need to try to target our areas on the most remote areas. In fact, we've come under some criticism for going to too remote of an area, and we're thinking about ways that we can adjust that, but we do want to focus on unserved areas.
Well, that's extremely important. I mean, this is, if anything, we want to make sure that those areas that don't have any access at all are going to get it. In the future, at least with future funding rounds, are you all taking steps or trying to figure out ways to make this process easier and more or less costly?
Absolutely, and as we both indicated in our statements, we will be going out to the public very soon to get their input as to what changes they would like to see, and so that we're in a position to consider and accommodate as many of those concerns as we can for the second round.
All right. Okay.
That's right.
Would the gentleman yield?
Absolutely.
So you mentioned before the second round will start at the beginning of the year.
We don't have a firm date set, but I would say I would expect it would start sometime in January.
So
yes.
we are almost, November is almost here. You will be listening to small businesses. If this is a session that you're going to be conducting with those who applied for this, and then coming up with the recommendations and making the adjustment or the changes.
The RFI process is a paper process where people would submit written comments. We're still evaluating what other outreach we might conduct during that period. Certainly once our rules are issued to kick off the second round, just as we did for the first round, we will go around the country and conduct workshops just as we did the last time, including some focused exclusively on small business and socially disadvantaged businesses to help them work their way through the application process and explain ways that they can get through the system.
Okay, thank you.
I've got a letter that I'm putting together now with many suggestions, particularly for rural areas, which I'm going to make available to all the members of the committee if they want to sign on, but we'll be sending that over right away with our suggestions.
Thank you.